Guruganeshabhyam Namaha. Is God necessary? Why should there be a God, an Ishvara? Let us first look at the opposition to the existence of God raised by rationalists and atheists. Because unless there is a strong opposition, your own arguments become weak. Like how an absolute majority government with a weak opposition or a dictatorial regime would behave. Our Shastras don't just preach or give you a set of arbitrary rules. The approach of our Shastras is that they tackle oppositions which is called Purva Paksha and through that establish the validity of principles. So first of all, we will look at the arguments against the existence of God. One argument is that the creation of the world is just accidental. It just came into existence without any reason or intentions. It runs without any controller behind it. Whatever happens in the world are random events, a large number of random events. Sarvam Kshanikam. They are not related to each other. There is no connectivity between events. There is no past. There is no future. Only what you experience at the present moment is there. Past and future are just creation of the mind. As per this, there need not be a God. Another school of thought would accept only what can be perceived through eyes, ears, nose, tongue and skin. Other than this, everything else is just creation of mind. If you can see God, God exists. Otherwise not. There is nothing called a soul or Atma also, which we consider as the traveler in the vehicle called the body. For us, the traveler enjoys the cool breeze that comes in through the window of the vehicle and also suffers the jolts on a bumpy road. But like how a car of Indian origin is restricted to ply only on the Indian roads and cannot freely ride into the neighboring country, we say there is a large framework of control in place. Say in your car you want to drive into Bangladesh. You can't do that freely. There are restrictions in place. This is a larger framework I am talking about. As long as you are on the Indian road, there is no such restriction. You can move as you want. But at the same time, which road to take when you have a choice, the highway or bumpy road, or at what speed to drive, these are all in your hand. The rationalists won't accept this larger framework of system. They will only accept the validity of the small decisions that you make from time to time. So these kind of arguments of the rationalists and atheists is nothing new. Bhagavad Gita in chapter 16 lists some of these rationalist arguments. Asatyam apratishtamte jagadahur anishwaram aparaspara sambhudam kimanyat kamahaitukam. Many of these arguments will prove to be futile just by looking around. There is a clay pot. Did it just appear all of a sudden where it is sitting now? No, there was clay before that. Somebody used the potter's wheel and made it into the shape and size. So, is the presence of clay pot as it is, of a particular shape and size, just accidental? Can it be accidental? A random event? No. There are three things involved that brought the pot into existence. A material called clay, which transformed itself into the pot. Let's say it is just a raw pot, not cured. Can a lump of clay just turn itself into the pot? No, the potter has to work on it. There is action and effort involved. Without that, the lump of clay will not turn into a pot. There is knowledge and intelligence involved. I won't be able to make a pot. I have not learned. I am not trained to do it. I will take the lump of clay and do all sorts of things with my hands. But I don't know that it has to be kept on a wheel. And as the wheel rotates, using my hands, the clay is to be shaped into a pot. This knowledge I don't have. Will I be able to make the pot? Pre-existing material in some form, action and knowledge. These are required to bring anything into existence. These three, we call them Ishvara, God. Nothing can be random or arbitrary. This we have spoken about only a clay pot. Think about the trillions of objects in the world, living, non-living, movable, immovable, big, small, all their interactions with each other. A human being through thousands of generations still gives birth only to a human being, not a monkey or a lion. A tree flowers and bears fruits according to seasons. Sun always rises in the east, not for a day in the west. A waxing moon never reverses its growth midway and starts waning, not before Purnima. A man always sees with his eyes, not through ears. There is a system in place. Without a control, no system can function. This control, this controller, this control system is what we recognize as God. In a computer, there is an operating system which controls all that the computer does. This is not visible to you. What is visible to you is just the apps, the applications which are of day-to-day use to you. Will you say, where is the operating system? Show me. Windows does not exist because I don't see it. Only Microsoft Word and Paint exist. Operating system exists and the computer engineer can access that. He has knowledge to access it. He can access so many things that you don't know how to. So these arguments of rationalists are also childish like this. Ultimately, what we recognize as God is material, energy and knowledge. We go one more level deeper and say that both material and energy are just derivatives from knowledge. This is a concept of God as per Sanatana Dharma. You call him or her by whatever name you want, Ganesha, Shiva, Vishnu, Durga, whatever. Doesn't matter. Harihi Om.
यज्ञो हि श्रेष्ठतमं कर्म